Hey guys, welcome to this podcast for Naam Doon, and I am S. Well, I'm finally glad to have the opportunity to show you all my face. Here I am. Filter lagaya because I do not have any makeup on me, so apart from the eyeliner. But yeah, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes, for all the love that you guys have given to me. And I had asked for 25 questions, but you guys nearly gave me 50. So I will answer each and every one of them as fast as I can so as to I don't take too much of your time. So the first question is asked by Suhita, who is also called Suhiteni2 on Insta. Thank you so much for asking a question. What is the first episode I ever watched on IPK? So that is an interesting question because I actually actively started watching IPK when I was in college, and that was 3-4 years after the show got over, and that's when I watched it chronologically from the first episode. But the first glimpse of IPK I actually got that I did not share with anyone, the story is I was at home browsing YouTube and I saw the Mehendi cheek kiss that happened. At that point, it did not affect me. I was like, ye kya ho raha hai? Like, what's happening? But yeah, that is the first glimpse I ever had of IPK. And then when I watched it much later, then it was from the Sheesh Mahal episode. And then the next question is by San Arshi Lover, who said that I know it is impossible to match Sarun, but if replacement happened, who would have suited for Arnav and Khushi according to you? Well, you're right. That is an extremely difficult question to answer because, I spent 2 days thinking over your question, who could have matched. I mean, I believe anyone could have played Arnav and Khushi in the sense they would have made the character their own. It might have not been iconic, it might have been just another show, it might have not clicked, who knows. But the thing that really makes Arnav and Khushi so interesting is the fact that Byrne and Sanaya gave their all to these characters, and their prowess and acting really showed and made, their chemistry really made these characters iconic. The USP of the show, apart from the writing, is the casting. So, if not for these two, I thought for so long, it could be Fawad Khan and Jennifer Winget. These are two powerhouses of talent who could have been Arnav and Khushi. Question number 3 is by Shivani Rathore 19, who said that after winning Mrs. India, what happened next in Arshi life according to your imagination? Well, according to my imagination, I think they would have taken active steps to become better parents, because that is what the whole track was supposed to be about, that them learning how to become better parents. And I think Khushi would, there are many duties after Mrs. India that, I don't know, going for conferences, meeting people, all of those things. And Arnav and Khushi would strive to match work-life balance, and I think they would live happily ever after. So Simran Gira 6 says, happy birthday. Thank you so much. What has still made you so connected to the show even after 11 years? What a brilliant question. I think, to be very honest, the level of writing, the minimalism in the cinematography, and the casting and chemistry between the casts, I think that is kind of irreplaceable. And I've realized one thing, that when shows are well written, they clearly outlive their time. And IPK is one of those shows. I've seen there were many romantic shows before IPK, there were many romantic shows after IPK, but there's just that USP factor of great writing, great cinematography, and great actors that still clicks today. And I don't think with the way the current Indian television landscape is, ITV still stands out here. It still does. Like in Star Bharat, its reruns are still one of the most popular things that's going on, because it was also well timed. It's within 1 year, your characters go where they need to go. If the show, this is what Rit says, that if IPK ran for even a month after when they closed, it would have not been a classic, and probably I wouldn't be discussing it 11 years later. It would have just been another show. Afifa Spam writes, do you think IPK would have the same hype and love if it was released today? First of all, what a brilliant question. I don't know about hype, but definitely it would have received love. I think a lot of IPK's hype comes from the fact that no other show was like that, focused exclusively on romance, did not focus on Saas Bahu dramas in that time. And I think because of IPK's success, a lot of shows have been like that. So then you have to wonder, right, that if IPK did not release, would we have had romantic shows being produced to that extent? So if romance is not in the scene, then IPK would have a hype for being different. Otherwise, what I firmly believe is that IPK would have received loved because the written material and the execution, let us consider that the execution, the casting, the written material, the time frame of the show, that is 1 year, all of that is executed. I think it would be a slow growth, but a strong growth. I do think they would have gotten a good connect with the audience. And the only reason why I'm saying so is because till date, there are a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, who discovered IPK now. And they've fallen in love with it. Like, it's not just the previous audience. Like, IPK's love is not because of existing audience, but it's also getting newer audiences nowadays. So that's something interesting to think, Hannah. If you were to change one thing about IPK, what would you change? I would definitely change the way the suicide track was written. It is very unfortunate that that is the way they went around to try and get Ardav to blast out as to why he married Khushi. First of all, it was contempt that he kept it so long within himself without even giving her an inkling. But yeah, I would have changed that scene because I did not like it that it was comedic. There's this problematic trope where any pain a woman feels must be made comedy. If a woman is at the lead, comedy is her lead because she cannot be serious. If a man is in the lead, his emotions are at the lead, then you have tragedies and pain because apparently men have more serious emotions. It never just sits well with me. So the way they made Khushi's suicide a joke, and that was used, and the fact that it made it hilarious that Khushi was thinking Arnav was going to kill her, it is not funny. Imagining domestic violence is not funny. Let's keep it to that. Question number 8 is by Amanda Darkwood. Happy birthday. Thank you. What makes IPK so memorable and rewatchable for you? The fact that it's still relevant, it is still fresh, the characters are hot, and it evokes chemistry and romance like no other. Truly it does. It still gives fodder for fan fiction. You can understand how much potential is there in a show when it can still motivate people to write about it.
कुछ रिश्ते अजीब ही डोर में बंधे होते, तकरार से शुरू होते, नफरत के साये में पनपते, गिरते पड़ते पर कायम रहते। नफरत बढ़ती जाती और रिश्ते की गांठ और गहरी होती जाती, इतनी कि एक दिन नफरत भी और बढ़ने से शर्मा जाती और वो रिश्ता सिर्फ एक बंधन बन के रह जाता है, लेकिन सिर्फ नफरत वाला। कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है जैसे नफरत के उस माहौल में कुछ तो है जो हमसे कहता है कि इस अनसुनी, अनजाने से, अनकहे से एहसास को एक मौका तो दो।
So question number 11 is by Arshi My Sunset, who asks that, do you still believe that someday Bharan and Sinai will come back together as Arnav and Khushi? It depends. Do I believe they will come back as Arnav and Khushi? Only if there is a good story. Like, I am imagining that not another like random thing like Ek Jashan where multiple things in that series happened that was so out of character for Arnav and Khushi that I didn't even know how to feel about it. But if something like Rewind and Yado Ki Barat, where there's like a fond recollection of memories, they can come back for a cameo. For them to come back in a full series, it has to be something that is truly well written. Otherwise, what is the point? What's the point of bringing back a classic if you don't have a story to say? Like, I'd much rather cherish a classic than have like sequels and sequels and sequels that kind of ruins what it is. So they might come back. I don't see them coming back anytime soon, to be very honest, because Arnav and Khushi, their story is done, their story is told. But if we were to have a really solid script with a story to say for Arnav and Khushi, then I don't see why they wouldn't do it. But otherwise, nah, some things are better remaining as classics. Question number 12 and 13 are by my BB, Customer Zahir, on Insta. So her first question is, if you were to swap lives with one IPK character, who would that be? I'd be Aman and not call Arnav during Diwali. Like, god damn it. But either way, I don't think Arnav and Khushi shouldn't have kissed, and that's another completely different option because it would have been disastrous. The second character I would have been is Anjali. Not for any other scene, but not stop Arnav when he's going to the terrace. God, that was this close to confessing, yaar. And question number 13. What is the one scene or track in IPK that most of the people hate, but you absolutely love? I love the kidnapping track. Sorry. I know I do. I mean, barring all of the creepy, weird Khushi seducing Sham kind of a thing, or Mami being James Bond and them like getting tapes from Indira Gandhi International Airport Security, which is one of the biggest airports in the world. When two characters like Arnav and Khushi have had so much a bitter misunderstanding between them, what is the one thing that can bring them back to reality and to each other? It is that one of their lives are in danger. I feel the kidnapping was the perfect way to bring them to forget the misunderstanding and run towards each other and therefore unveil how much they love each other. Yep. Also, adding a disclaimer, I don't like the kidnapping sequence because of the hut scene, okay? It was very weird that beach raste, like in the middle of the road, they decided let us consume it. But made no sense. Absolutely didn't. I'm just saying the whole idea of kidnapping and Khushi's tension and Arnav's realization that he's not given Khushi a chance. He's not even entertained the fact that what if she's right. So, on those aspects. Question number 14 is from Big Fat Reader, who says, Happy birthday, thank you. Any bit of IPK that irritates you and is beyond belief for you? That making Suicide a comedy. And not a dark comedy. It would have been brilliant as a dark comedy. It was a tone-deaf comedy. And Khushi thinking Arnav is going to murder her. And that's funny. Kaise? So question number 15. Bolly Slay asks 3 scenes that shocked you the most in the show. I'll also compile this with Noor Ahmed's question, which is, Happy birthday, thank you. With scene or track was something that shocked you the most about the show. So, first thing that shocked me was initially the level Arnav would go. So, you know when he snapped her dori or let her off from the first floor? Ouch. That was kind of shocking. A pleasant shock was when Arnav pulled her and kissed her on a cheek. I did not see that coming. It was a pleasant surprise and I'm jealous of anyone who sees it for the first time. The third scene that actually like truly shocked me, so much so that I was completely left berserk. Ki, what is happening? Is when NK and Mami danced as Arnav and Khushi for the Sangeet. Why? Why? An aunt and nephew romantically dancing. Yeah. That was the biggest shock I got in the show. Question number 16 is by Bolly Slay, who asks, which character has the best background music or tune? Sham Manohar Jha. His Daya Ho is absolutely my fave. Maybe it is the bangle bias, but the bracelet bias. But oh my god, his Daya Ho was like, love it. And I love how there's a flute sense to it, considering his name is Sham, which means Krishna, right? So I love how Sham is all the negativity of Lord Krishna. Like if there was like a negative version of him, because he's also like, Mayavi. He's also like an illusionist. He entraps people in his sweet, charming words. So I think he had fab background music. And I think the show had great background music in general, but I think Sham and Arnav's background music are my favorites, because their background musics actually are very evocative in nature, and they also speak a lot as to what is the tone of the characters, which I think is pretty cool. Alright, question number 17 is by Divya Das, who says, Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Wish you to be healthy and keep making videos. Thank you so much. I want to ask, how do you start watching IPK, and do you want a spin-off of it? Well, how I started watching IPK is in the first episode of my podcast. I knew Sanaya from Mile Jab Habdum. I was in college. I wanted to see something desi. IPK came across my screen. It was a show I heard about, and I'm like, interesting, let me give it a watch. And I have not stopped watching ever since. Do you want a spin-off of it? Nope. Absolutely not. I am very much against remakes and sequels when they're not thought of or when they're not planned of, because more than often they're just money grabs. So no actual thought given to plot. It's just existing because they want to make money off the franchise name, which already they've tried. It was very sad that they used the name IPK and ruined an otherwise good plot. You know what I'm talking about. What changes do you think can be done to appeal present generation? Nothing. I think IPK back in the day is still far better and far superior to some of the shows that exist today. And no kidding, you can understand that by the TRPs on Star Bharat, where the reruns are actually more popular than any of the current shows. Who do you think can be new ASR and Sanka Devi? Please don't say Barun and Sanaya. Yeah, they're not that old that the new generation of actors need to come. I don't know. I already said that in an alternate universe, Fawad and Jennifer could play ASR and Sanka Devi. Amongst the current crop of actors, I don't quite know. They can play the character, obviously. Any actor can play the character. But I don't know if it'll be the iconic Arnav Singh Raizada and Sanka Devi. What's in a name? They can have it. But the characterization, the nuances, the chemistry USP that made them our own, I don't think so. I don't think anyone can do that. They can always give us another version of Arnav and Khushi, but then I don't know if that's truly even IPK. The thing about IPK is really it's about the right people at the right time with the right acting, right direction, right production, right editing, right background music. A lot of things fell into place. So removing any from the aspect kind of removes the iconic IPK-ness to it. And now the next set of questions will be from Dramibars.af, one of my bestest friends. Hey. Question number 18. What is the one track everyone seems to like but you don't? Have you and BB been talking to each other? Asking me exactly the same question but in opposite tones. I cannot stomach the Swami track and the 24-hour challenge track. You probably already know this why. But it's the context that makes it problematic. Out of context, I think both the tracks are very hilarious, very funny, and they kind of give the much needed reprieve between tension-filled tracks. But in context, I still cannot watch it because let's talk about the Swami track, right? Arnav is literally in the position. He has proven that he can kick Payal out within a blink of an eye. And she thinks that calling him Swami is good revenge of sorts. Like, how? And with the 24-hour challenge track, that was abuse, financially abusing. He was financially abusing Khushi. He manipulated her to make her feel she's making a big deal out of nothing, and then financially cornered her so as to she gets back home. So I kind of find no enjoyment when I watch it in context. Outside context, hilarious. Question number 19 by Dramibars.af. What moment of IPK is a comfort moment? I think the whole pre-Payal and Akash wedding. What I'd like to often call as the golden era of IPK. I think they had the best scenes, the cutest scenes, and always made my heart flutter. Question number 20. What moment or scene do you watch if it's angst time? 3 scenes are there. One is the whole Arnav blackmailing Khushi to marry him. Solid angst. The second one is when Arnav calls Khushi the biggest mistake of his life. Brilliant angst. And the other one is the whole Shaitan and Sundari sequence. I think that was beautifully executed. All of these are amazing angst scenes. It is disappointing that the first 2 did not have proper payoffs to them, because they said that's like tragedy of IPK. It's always well done. Also, the reason why the blackmailing, the whole terrace scene is solid angst is not because that, oh, look at it being so passionate because he's grabbing her hand or things like that. It's not that. It's because he was going to confess his love to her. Like, they were so close to having it all and they didn't because of a misunderstanding, which is a result of the silence that was kept to keep Payal's marriage. Like, the pain of it all is that to save Payal's marriage, she lied, and then to again save Payal's marriage, her dreams are broken. That's why it fits well, not because, oh, he's grabbing her so tightly, no. And even in the second angsty scene, it is solid angst, not because he's misbehaving with her or intensity is communicated through that sort of passion. No, it's because that is a foundational problem, right, in this whole relationship, that somehow Khushi is held responsible for whatever happens at Shantivan. And with this, the ugliest thoughts got out. And this could have really been an instrumental thing to clarify everything that happened in the show, everything between Arnav and Khushi, the very fact that he married her for his sister, which I don't think entirely was the case, but set a good foundation for that. And then question number 21, what trait would you change about Khushi? I mean, I wouldn't actually change anything about her, because if I change her, then the character is changed, right? But even any trait, I think what I would have liked to have seen is to see consistency in her. Arnav is very consistently written, but Khushi is not. And you see that change especially after her elopement. And I'm not saying that an event changed her. For example, in Sanaya's previous show, Gunjan, her character goes through a radical shift when her sister dies. But fundamentally, they're the same people. With Khushi, a different problem arises, is that post the elopement, the narrative becomes exceedingly Arnav's. So much to a point where we don't even understand Khushi. We don't see her internal conflicts. We don't see her as a person. And she exists only because only for like her tears or anything exists largely for Arnav to see, for him to see, to impact him. Which is why when Arnav is not in the picture, we go back, like during the kidnapping, we go back to seeing the Khushi that we loved. So, there's this sense of Tehrav and the sense of maturity in Khushi, a sense of calmness. She's extremely intelligent, but all of these traits are lost out to make her comedic to a point of stupidity. So I won't change any trait. I would just wish her traits were maintained throughout the show. Question number 22. Which animal would you replace Lakshmi the goat with while still naming them Lakshmi? I would replace Lakshmi the goat with Lakshmi, a goldfish. Goldfish Sona might be lucky. That's a bad joke, but I'm just trying to imagine Nani ji being serious about goldfish and Lavanya being like a seafood enthusiast. Imagine her raving about some goldfish delicacy in front of Nani. Question number 23. Which original soundtrack played in the show is a favorite track? One of my favorite soundtracks in the show is one that they actually never used in the show, which they used in the promo, which was Rabba Mere Kya Hai Teri Marzi. How can they not use it? It was so well done. And if you consider what is strictly in the show, then it has to be Tu Hi Bata Mere Maula. Beautifully composed, beautifully written, beautifully sung. It just touched my heart, and it is hands down one of the best songs in IPK.
तू ही बता मेरे मौला, तू ही बता मेरे रब्बा, फासले मीलों के हैं, दोनों हैं अलग दिशा, कभी ये मिल पाएंगे, नहीं किसी को है पता, नहीं किसी को है पता.
Question number 24. Both Dramebaz.af and Pooja Tripathi 923724 asked me who was your favorite character in IPK, or like favorite character during your very first watch. This is a tough one, but I would say that I enjoyed watching Shyam descend into madness. Because when I watched him for the first time, he was almost like a really good side character, but something about him just felt off and I never knew what it was until he got revealed as this main villain. And I think it's very nice because he was written in a way that treated the audience as smart people. And when you treat the audience as smart and you let it play out that Shyam is villainous, but like in the beginning almost hero-esque, it's very entertaining to watch. But I think my all-time favorite character was Shashi. I think he very neatly fit the role of a liberal father in a conservative setting, which not many people can hit it quite right. So I wish we saw more of him. And next, question number 25 is by Gauri V80. Wish you a very happy birthday. Thank you. On a long flight, would you prefer Arnav Singh Raizada to sit next to you or Baran Sopti? Oh my god. That is a very difficult question. If I want no disruptions and I just want to sleep, then I think sitting next to Arnav Singh Raizada will be amazing because he seems like a very non-intrusive person who just keeps to himself. If I accidentally end up talking, like if I'm talking about films and television, then I would love to sit next to Barun because I love his take on the television industry and the nuances of it. So I would love to chat with him about it. But I would also fangirl a lot. And I think poor chap, I think I would make him uncomfortable on the flight. I think you need to ask him if he wants to sit next to a fan who is obsessed over his show to this extent. Happy birthday. Thank you. So, first question. A piece of fiction you recently enjoyed and would recommend? Kim's Convenience. It is so wholesome. Appa has my heart. Literally, you should watch it. Question number 27 by Glimpses. Is there anything you would like to start in the future? A hobby or skill you wish to work on? I definitely want to go deeper into content creation. Especially film reviews, movie reviews. Like, how do you think if you would chat like this about films and movies and everything? I would definitely like to work more into this because I love films and I've also studied filmmaking. So I do want to take writing and critiquing on the next level. Question number 28. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? The power of touching any project and instantly completing it. The number of books I would have written by now if that was the case. Really are, right? That superpower I want. To multitask with like a jadui shakti. Anything I touch would be completed. Question number 28, right? Question number 29 is by Harshita Goel. Happy birthday, S. Thank you. Absolutely waiting to see one of the faces behind one of my favorite channels. Oh, thank you. What is it that you do in your asli dunya? Are you studying or working? Well, I am a writer and I also work on film sets. Who or rather, what made you watch IPK? I knew Sanaya from Mile Jab Hum Tum, so that made me watch IPK. Question number 30 by Harshita Goel. What was one of the things you're grateful for in the last year? Well, I'm really grateful that my family and we've been safe during the pandemic and we were able to not be too greatly affected by it. And I know that the same cannot be said for the rest of the world. So I think I'm grateful that we've been healthy and we've been safe and we have a place to stay. And what software, again by Harshita Goel, what software do you use for editing VMs and podcasts? Final Cut Pro. Also, may I add that I just love the detail-oriented analysis and quality VMs this channel provides. Most of the time, the insights from you, Rids, and guests help me rediscover the show and make me want to binge watch it again. Sending all the love. Thank you, Harshita. You're a sweetheart. Question number 31. From Here Lives a Hobbit. Which character from all of IPK do you relate to the most, think you're most similar to? Not just the main characters, but any character that appeared in the show. Thanks. Which character? I almost want to say Rocky because he did not want the Chanar Chole to go to waste. And I stand that. I do feel that I relate to Arnav and Khushi. Both of them. I think Khushi's strong sense of family, I connect with that a lot. And I also connect to Arnav's individualism. Question number 33 by Honeybear XOX. Hey honey. Sending you a massive cyber hug. Oh, sending you a big massive cyber hug too. My IPK question was, if you could have changed the direction of the show, how would you have changed it? I would love to hear about how your version of IPK would have gone down, Jalebi. You're honestly an angel for indulging me with these questions. You're an angel as well. I would have changed the direction of the show after the temple elopement. Because I think until the elopement, they had really good setups for some amazing tracks. So therefore I would have focused the second half of the show on actually paying off on those setups. For example, Shashi's paralysis, that was a fantastic setup because he knew everything. So I would utilize that character. Arnav and Khushi, their misunderstanding, the fact that their love, no matter how great and deep it is, it stands on very weak foundations where the past, Arnav's past overrules all of his decisions. That is there. I would dig deep into Sham. There was something about Sham. Because him being absent for Anjali was a very known fact. It was pre-Khushi also. So these setups and Khushi maturing, realizing that her worldview actually affects people because it was her naivety to keep silence, all of that. Question number 34, also by Honeybear XOX. I was wondering what your favorite books, TV shows, films are apart from IPK. I love Ted Lasso. I'm obsessed with it. It is one of the best shows I've seen in my life. Then I also love Mile Jab Hum Tum. It's everything. I love Tintin. I love the adventures of Feluda. And film-wise, I love Lutera. That's what pushed me to filmmaking. Thanks for asking this. Question number 35 by In Love Frictionally. According to you, what would be the top 3 looks of KKG? Red Sari Rabbave, Teri Meri, and a tie between Tej and what she wears during the Teri Meri dream sequence. Question number 35 by Lost AF Panda. And also by my best friend Radhe. They both asked that how was my birthday? It was amazing. I got calls from some very near and dear friends. I got tons of messages. Thank you guys. I got some gifts and I got a lot of love. Thank you. it was truly one of my happiest birthdays of all time. So, question number 36 by Lost AF Panda. What are some of your hobbies, or what do you like to do for fun outside of IPK? I love to watch films. I love to watch television shows. I liked reading books. I should get back to that. I like writing a lot. I should also get back to that. I like drawing or doodling, like some of those things. I like dancing. That is also another thing I should get back to. And I love listening to music. Question number 37, also by Lost AF Panda. In real life, would you be more into someone like Arnav or Akash, or maybe ASR without the mean parts, or a mix of both? You missed out NK. Like, he was the hottest dude out there. He was so sweet, so nice, so wholesome. Such a cutie. Arnav is hot. If Arnav has hotness working for him, along with his extreme sense of individualism and a magnetic personality, then Akash has this inherent kindness that's attractive. But then both of these men have certain qualities that make them absolutely like non-dateable. It is Akash's spinelessness and Arnav's anger. My god, the things he says, the character assassination, no way am I sticking around for that. So, question number 38, continuing with Lost AF Panda's questions. What's your top Rabbave scene or the moment you fell in love with IPK? My top Rabbave is always going to be the Red Sari Rabbave, because you always need a scene to establish the fact that there is sexual romantic attraction between two characters, and it's very difficult to do that when these two characters are like, antagonistic to each other. So that convinced me that there is an attraction between them, an attraction I could connect to, not just to people being in a physically intimate space. No, that's not the thing. It was just a glance, and that was powerful enough to quote unquote throw me off my chair. But what made me fall in love with IPK was Khushi's resignation scene. I think that broke down a lot of the tropes that the show followed, and I think that made it stand out. Khushi's resignation scene, there was a lot of awareness of what was happening and beautiful anger given to Khushi. Usually female characters don't get the space for anger, and Khushi got it, and boy, she slayed it. So that made me fall in love with IPK. Question number 39, the last question by Lost AF Panda, which is what inspired you to do a blog, podcast, or analyze more technical aspects of the show? I always loved IPK for what it was, and the more I studied filmmaking, the more I realized it was a technical marvel. It was beautiful to watch. And then Rids recommended this to me because we became friends because of IPK, and then we would end up speaking for hours and hours and hours about IPK. And she actually joked that we should start a podcast, and then she got serious about it, that we should start a podcast because we have interesting viewpoints and there might be some person out there who might like to hear about it. And we decided that yes, let us do this all professional style. And honestly, we were aiming for 2 subscribers, so to get to 5,000 was thank you guys. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for loving the show even after 11 years. Yeah, that means a lot. And one of the things about IPK is that the more I analyze it as a trend setter, the more opportunity I get to see what made it iconic. And I think I love technically analyzing it because it has technically so much to offer. So I think that's what I really like. IPK has beautiful cinematography that does not interfere with plot. You're never taken out of the story because of the cinematography, and that is rare. Question number 40. Here I will club Mansi and Bolly Slay's questions because they're kind of similar in nature. Mansi asked one plot or scene you feel is underutilized in IPK. Bolly Slay asked something you feel that was not covered enough in the show. And that's literally the misunderstanding, because that was central to the show. That was the peak, right? Where Arnav misunderstands everything and all the stakes were out there. And them not utilizing this was probably my most heartbreaking moment in the show, because that was the deal. That was the deal. How can you not explore it? So I think that was underutilized, heavily underutilized in the show. The whole misunderstanding and its resolution. They never even addressed the resolution. We we don't have a scene as to what happens. Does Arnav, like, where does it strike him? So, yeah. Where does it strike Khushi that Arnav misunderstood everything? Yeah. Question number 41 from my darling Mutton Things. I'm so glad to see a question from you. You asked me what is my favorite dialogue in IPK.
तो सुन लीजिए मिस्टर आइजाद, हम ठीक हैं। आपकी वजह से नहीं, आपके बावजूद भी हम ठीक हैं।
Khushi slapping that on Arnav was probably my favorite moment in the show because, as I said, right, this is why I fell in love with the show. It broke the trope of damsel in distress. Yeah, Arnav saved Khushi, but that awareness that the savior points do not count if you're the one to throw her in danger, that is what made IPK stand out. It almost reminded me of Pride and Prejudice, where Darcy proposes to Lizzie and he insults all her relations while proposing to her, and she's like, is that how it's happening? That bit of awareness, which I think was stunning to watch and which set it apart from other romantic shows. I am waiting to see things like that. I know Channa Meria is a lot more subtle and stable and gives me some hope that there is a lot more awareness in that show. Question number 42 from Pandora678 on Tumblr. What are the best Arnav and Khushi scenes? Well, I think in my list of the best written scenes for IPK, those kind of summarize it all. One of the scenes that really impacted me a lot was the Sundari and Shaitan and the conversation that they had before consummating. I think that is when we see the characters at their vulnerable best and they're actually talking about love and how much they feel for each other. Like, that space was so important. It was so beautiful. It was nearly tear-jerking. Question number 43 by Pandora678. What are your most favorite scenes in IPK? I think especially the pre-Payal and Akash wedding. I think they balanced humor, love, all of it so well. They got that little pseudo courtship phase really good. Question number 44 by Pandora678. What are your thoughts on Arnav and Khushi's relationship dynamic? They need therapy. Literally, they need therapy. They bond a lot due to having similar traumas, and but Arnav, in many aspects in Khushi's life, is too dominant and superior, which needs to be checked. Although they do treat each other on equal foot point, which I find very interesting. Question number 45 from my dearest Shy Annan on Tumblr. Happy birthday. Thank you, G. In your opinion, if the IPK gang and Mile Jab Hum Tum gang crossed paths, who'd get along with whom the most? You just made an EU of two of my favorite shows together. Clearly, Mayank, Gunjan, Arnav would get along with each other, considering Arnav does not expose his attitude or arrogance to them. And obviously, Khushi, Samrat and Nupur would probably burn Excel. And then Nupur would burn AR if she got to know what Arnav did to Khushi. Nupur would just kill Arnav. She would murder him. She legit would. But I think that's how it's going to be divided. I think Arnav would actually find a good group of friends with Mayank and Gunjan, considering they're both introverts by choice and that they value intellect. Question number 46 by Smiley Annan. Are you from India and did you used to live in India? Yes, it's evident at this point I am from India. And yes, I did live in India for a short period of time. Then, question number 47 by Smiley Annan. Arnav used to enjoy when Khushi became nervous because of his closeness, but any girl being nervous around him is not a new incident for him. Then why is it important for him? I'm not quite sure where you're going with this. If you're saying that shyness, if you're understanding nervousness as shyness, every time everyone is in a relationship with someone new, you're starting from a blank slate, because it's a new experience. Like, you might have done one particular thing 1,000 times, but every time you do it with someone else, it's something different. Yes, you have more experience, you have more exposure to the world, But it's like watching a film. We all know what it is to watch a film or to watch a TV show. But every time there's a new show, there's a new film, there's something exciting, because even though you have the experience of watching a film, the film is new. What you will feel from it is new. That's it. Question number 48, also by Smiley Ann. Everyone says Khushi's presence took away the loneliness from Arnav's life, but sometimes it seems to me that Arnav felt annoyed when Khushi is around him, giving him comfort when he was tensed, like after when Dadi came to the show or during Anjali's miscarriage. Like, he wants to be alone at the time, but Khushi starts saying everything will be alright and all. Do you think Arnav got irritated in those moments? No. Khushi was consoling him as any loved one would, and Arnav was not irritated or annoyed. He was extremely upset. And Khushi was hesitant, not because she realized she was irritating Arnav, because she realized she was trying to figure out what is the best way to support him. And sometimes when you're in a lot of pain, or when you're very upset or very hurt, at that time you don't want to speak to anyone. You just want some time to yourself. Question number 49, also by you. I think you will be hitting my 50 questions and ending this. It'll be great if you write an FF about the guest room incident after the Teri Meri dance sequence. That is a request instead of an ask. And, that was executed so well that I don't think I can ever write a fan fiction that does better job. And now, question number 50 from Smiley Annan, which I think is the perfect last question to sum everything off. Jalebi Urf S, can I know your full name? Well, guys, this is Srijita. So I hope you all had a wonderful time listening to all of these questions getting answered. I had such a fun time listening and reading all of your questions and, addressing them the best I could. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And with that, that's a wrap of today's episode, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.